So thank you for coming, everybody. We have a fairly short agenda this evening. Can somebody make a note of the apologies from Councillor Hurst? And the only piece of business is the application for the grant of a new premises licence. Does somebody want to outline the case? Because I'm Councillor Hockey, by the way, and I chair this committee.
Thanks, Chair. So the Licensing Act 2003 provides that a premises licence is required in respect of any premises where it is intended to conduct one or more of the four licensable activities, these being the sale of alcohol, the supply of alcohol in respect of a club, regulated entertainment, and or the provision of late night refreshments. The Licensing Authority received an application for the grant of a new premises licence for Cowtown Grill at 85 Washway Road, Sale M33 7TQ. The premises was previously licensed from March 2017 to July 2024 when the premise licence lapsed due to the dissolution of the previous licence holder. The previous premise licence is attached as Appendix A and the new application and plan is attached as Appendix B and C. Representations were received by local residents during the 28-day consultation period. This is attached as Appendix D. In conclusion, the subcommittee is requested to determine the application for a new premise licence in respect of Cowtown Grill, given regard to any representations received, national guidance, its own licensing policy, and the requirement to promote the four licensing objectives. The options available to the subcommittee are to grant the application in full and on the terms and conditions contained within the application and to include any applicable mandatory conditions, to grant the application but modified to such an extent as considered appropriate to satisfy any relevant representations and promote the licensing objectives, or to reject the application. Thank you.
Thank you. So what will happen now is we'll go through your application and ask you some questions, and then we'll talk amongst ourselves and we'll be able to give you a decision this evening. So am I okay to kick off? So I just wanted to, last time the business operated for 7 years and then it's same owners or?
Same owners, that's right.
So why did you close down?
Oh, sorry, same owners, but different directors. We all have a share in the company, including me and my wife and my sister and my brother-in-law. Okay. So right now it's under my, technically it's my sister-in-law, so my brother's sister. Sorry, my brother-in-law's sister.
Okay.
So
I'm just trying to understand the.
So the reason that we had the lapse in terms of we had the 7 years of continuity, and then there was a disagreement as a family-run business, not everything runs smoothly. So with the directors, there was a disagreement, and so that fell through. And so with that, the licensure of our restaurant also fell through. So the need to reapply for a license came about that way.
So is it the same management and the same staff, or what's because it was been closed a while now, hasn't
Correct. It's the same.
Okay, and I'm going through this. Did you previously have any problems previously with an alcohol license?
Never in the past few years that we've been open. We've never had any issues with any sort of local authorities that include police or firefighters. Never had any issues.
But just with the neighbours?
Just with the neighbours.
Okay. And do the other businesses on that row have similar issues with the same neighbours, or?
I know, for instance, for a fact, when I used to work there, not anymore, China Bowl, his name is Andy, he was telling me he had a bit of an issue with the neighbours, because I think his backyard was protruding or something, and I think he was planting flowers, and he was using some strong chemical. That's what I've heard. Okay. That's about it.
Okay, Deval, do you have any questions? So, going through the application, there's the complaints. They state that you've built out onto something that you don't own. Is that? Do you have planning permission for?
It was built before we got there. I think back in 2014, if I'm not wrong. It was already built.
Okay.
And I think it's been over 11 years now.
Okay.
And Trafford Council, I think they know about it already, because I believe my sister spoke to Trafford Council about it. And by the way, my sister is the DPS.
Okay. And how much of your business did you previously do, like Deliveroo or that kind of thing?
Previously, yes, we used to do Deliveroo and Uber Eat and Just Eat.
And where do those drivers access the collection point from?
They normally come from the front of the restaurant.
And is the place for them to park up out the
That's
front?
right. That's right.
Okay,
Because I have an agreement with Optic Star. His name is Peter. I asked him, because he's not been trading now for a few years after COVID, I asked him if I could use his parking space, and he agreed to it. Both front and back as well.
And what percentage of your revenue do you anticipate will come from that kind of business rather than on-site food and drink?
To be honest with you, ever since after COVID, it's 50-50. It's gone down a lot, guys.
Have there been issues that you could, so the things that people are referring to here, like deliveries being left unattended, I mean, these aren't particularly licensing, but if you lived in one of those houses and you backed onto your restaurant, do you think you would be a happy resident? Are you doing everything you could possibly do to mitigate impact upon neighbours?
Oh, 100%. We've got agreement with all the delivery company. They have a lockbox at the back. So whenever we get delivery, they bring it straight to the back of the restaurant, either into the cold room or into our dry storage, depending on what it is.
And what time of day do the deliveries start and end?
Normally, it wouldn't be like they state in the nighttime. That doesn't work. No delivery company delivers in the nighttime. I'll probably say daytime, anywhere from 8 in the morning to before 5 o'clock, I would probably say.
And the 3:30 a.m. bin collection?
The bin collection?
Yeah, it says that happens at 3:30.
Well, you gotta know, there's all the bins from all the businesses, all the neighbors, it's all amassed on that corner. So it's kind of hard to pinpoint, is it my bin that's been picked up or is it the other business? Because every bin literally goes in that corner.
So you've got the same refuse
That's right.
contract,
That's
all
correct.
of you?
That's correct. And I think the neighbor that mentioned, what was it, she said, Vanessa? The timing that the noise coming through on the complaint, that's kind of a bit hard to think because the noise be coming from the restaurant because literally she's the furthest house on the corner and our restaurant is the furthest down the alley. It's a little bit hard to hear the noise from there.
So are the other restaurants on that block, are they down
There's a restaurant directly
away?
behind her. I think that's Manassa. It's a new restaurant that just opened. And before it was Cafe Man? Cafe Man. And right backing it, you have Sale Dental as well on the corner. They got bins as well. Pretty much all the businesses.
With the same waste contract?
That's correct.
And do they come at 3:30 in the morning?
I wouldn't be able to tell you. I do not live on Washbury Road. But in the past, I believe so. They used to come, but now roughly from the timestamp that we used to get from miscollection, I've seen at 6 in the morning. Not 3 in the morning, but 6 in the morning.
Okay.
From previous miscollection, they will take a photo of the alley if the bin was not presented outside. So that's pretty much it.
Just to point out, her complaint was in regards to it being an everyday thing, but we actually have twice weekly collections for our bins. So she's complained every day. So some of that fault would fall on the other businesses, unfortunately, because they might have alternating days of collections. But we're happy to mitigate in terms of what our stance has been with this neighbor all along from the start. Since being there 7 years prior, was really to come to amends. So when we started, I have had conversations with her, my husband Taz, really to try to come to an amends, to not escalate things. We've given her free food in the past. We've really tried to create good relationships with our neighbors and our businesses as well that are beside us. That's why I think we've put in the notes, please speak to any of the businesses alongside us because none of them have had any issues in terms of the relationship between us. But specifically with our neighbors, we've tried to establish, and we want to be cognizant of us being a commercial property with residents backed directly onto it. So anything we can do to mitigate that noise, for example, with our, what's the canopy, where we, where all kind of the odors and the extraction fan per se, we have a regular 3-monthly cleaning company that comes in. So that helps to mitigate noise and smells as well. So we've taken on, in the past, she's put in complaints directly with us, and we've taken that on board and tried to work with her. But then it's just escalated, and it's become a clear targeting over the years.
Want to mention some incident that happened?
I think what was mentioned, one of the things that was mentioned in there was specifically some racial targeting, that she's made some comments. So she's phoned up, and we have a mix of staff. So we have white, brown, we have all sorts of different nationalities in our business. And so one time she rang excessively through to during business time to say, please lower your voices. I'm sat in my back garden. I don't want to hear foreign languages being spoken. And that was heard like over speaker by multiple employees, because she kept ringing over and over. And obviously that's distressing for them, as they're just trying to come to work and have a good experience. And so we've really tried our best, I think, to really come to an amends with her, and she really just is clearly very against us. So I think this was a golden opportunity for her to throw. That's why she's put little bits of information about this, that, and the other.
Can I just ask, do you cook and operate the kitchen with the back door open?
During the summertime, I'm not gonna lie to you, we do.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Wintertime, no.
Okay.
Can you tell me how many clients you have per week on average? On site,
How many clients?
on site only.
To be fair,
Yeah, visitors, basically, sorry.
visitors.
Customers.
So our restaurant doesn't have a bar area. It's just full of tables.
Okay.
So I'd say we have 10.
We've got 14 tables, 10 table of fours, and 4 tables of 2.
So on the weekends, we could see probably,
80% full.
yeah, so a couple hundred
What?
customers
Customer coming
through the
through.
door.
I'll say on a Friday or Saturday, probably under 100.
Okay, and what time do they leave? Do they leave
Normally, we can provide CCTV evidence. Most people leave by 9 o'clock.
at 9?
We're not really a hangout spot, put it that way. They just come in,
And
get what they want to eat, and they're out by then.
do you think they're going to stay a bit longer if you're selling alcohol?
Not in the past. I can
Not in the
assure you.
past.
Not in the past.
Okay.
I mean, the latest someone ever stayed was 11:30 once, and we were trying to push them out because we were trying to clean and go home. But that's about it.
Most of our clients, I would say, are all families, and that's kind of reflected if you looked at our reviews online. Young families or sometimes young professionals, but they tend to come in, have their food, have a drink with their food, and leave. And we've had no issues over the last 7 years of having the alcohol license with drinking in excess.
Yeah, normally it's just a pint or two. That's about it. It's not really like a sit-down pub where you get to watch sports and drinks and chat about just pretty straight business, just eating food.
Okay, thank you very much.
No worries.
2 questions for you. Something you just said about coming in and watching sports. I have enjoyed your poutine on one occasion
What's that?
and watched the hockey.
Okay.
Is that a regular?
It's not a regular thing. It's when I want to watch something, I put it on, if I'm being honest with you.
Okay,
It's not really meant
you're
for
not
customers.
going to
That's why
find-
there's only one TV that's on.
So that the hockey fans of Sale
Mhm.
are not descending on you.
No, I can assure you, we don't have many hockey fans in Manchester.
But
No.
There's two of us.
if you came in and requested it, we'd be more than happy to put it on for you.
I'll bear that in mind.
You can say that more than
But the other thing is slightly more serious. You mentioned these almost confrontational situations with the complainant.
Mhm.
How do they tend to run?
the police gets
How
involved.
do they end
Well, the
at the
police.
time that they happen?
So normally we try to mitigate it ourselves by talking to them, by going to see them. But a few times, I'm not gonna lie to you, we had to involve the police. For instance, that racial slur that she said, when the staff was talking a foreign language in the back. And one time, which really was upsetting to me, I'm not gonna lie to you, when a video was sent to us of my nephew, who was at that time was 2 years old, 2 years old. And he was playing in the backyard with his nanny at that time. And she just sent us a video that said there's this child screaming down the alley, up and down. And that was a tipping point for me, I'm not gonna lie to you. And that's where I was really upset. But I let the police take care of it instead of me. And the police did talk to them as well. And it should be recorded as well.
Okay. So these incidents escalated rapidly and then
It feels very
fell off
targeted,
the
sir.
edge at the
It feels, for the last few years we've been there, it feels very targeted. And it's always the same person as well. It's no issues with the other person, it's always the same person.
Have you any ideas why that might be?
I,
Other than the
if I knew, I would not be here, sir.
Okay. Yeah,
I think that's why we both tried to approach it in terms of, I tried to speak to her from a woman perspective, trying to understand from her perspective what's upsetting, trying to explain the things that we've done to mitigate noise and to take her complaint seriously. Because like I said before, we're aware that we are backing onto residents, people's houses, and so we wouldn't want to have an issue. But she's the only one that's, apart from this person way down the alley, there's several other houses and no one's ever approached us. But any issues with noise or any complaints or any of these things that she's been very vocal about. So it was with the escalation to the police, I think those 2 times, specifically with my husband's nephew, was really upsetting because she's installed a camera in her back to film it and then had sent that on social media to us.
And it's facing directly to our doors. That's the funny thing.
And so it puts unfortunately our staff at unease because they're
Always
faced-
being watched. Always being watched.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it for personal safety, but to the point where it's really feeling like it's targeted. Literally, you go down the alley, the camera facing directly to your back door. But it is the world that we live in.
and she's published pictures.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I just ask a couple of questions based on what you said? If I wanted to just come in
Mhm.
and drink wine
Mhm.
and not order any food, can I do that?
Of course.
And I can stay until what time with
Normally,
your
we'll
license?
try to get you before 11 o'clock. Most customer leaves around 9:30, 10 o'clock. But we'll politely ask you to leave before 11 o'clock.
I think,
Politely.
and I think our license shouldn't, your sister was the one who completed it. I think it's still 10 p.m.
10
on
p.m.
weekdays.
I think she
and
reapplied for it.
11 p.m.
I
weekends.
believe so.
So it'd be within whatever we've applied for in terms of licensing
Mhm.
to sell up to that point.
So what you've applied for now, is it just a like-for-like replacement of the previous license?
I
Or is
believe
it,
I was
is there an
speaking to her.
extent, is there a slight, what I'm trying to do is
Mhm.
find out if there's a way of sort of mitigating it almost to the point that maybe all the businesses on the block have one bin collection and you say, come at this, that kind of
Okay.
thing, because it's obviously intolerable for them and not great for you.
Mhm.
And, we don't want to have to adjudicate on it's not a great use of everyone's time, is it?
So-
It'd be much more harmonious if you could
Mhm.
perhaps, as a group of businesses, work together.
Of course.
Has there been a conversation as the group of businesses? Because there's
Never,
a few
never once,
restaurants.
because we all have a different bin collector. For instance, we are with Fresh Start.
So there could potentially be 3 or 4 bin collections, so they've decided that they're all
it's,
yours.
It's us, basically, because I think 2 of the businesses have the same color bin than us as well. So we use Fresh Start. Usually Fresh Start is orange, right? It's an orange bin. So it could be very much somebody else's collection that they think it's us, but like my wife said, we only get collected twice a week, that's it.
But if everyone else is getting collected twice a week,
That's
then
correct.
that's 3 a.m. every night of the week, isn't it?
Mhm.
And is there things like if the back door is open,
Mhm.
is there a radio on in the kitchen? Are you playing like music, whether it's live or?
No, I mean, in the past when I was cooking, prepping, I'm not gonna lie to you, yes. But not to the excessive amount that we're throwing a party in the kitchen. Music is only limited to the front, not the back. In the back, we have a portable speaker, but we rarely use it. And now that I'm not there, they're not using it. It's usually me listening to music. I like to listen to classical music when I'm prepping.
And when the staff are having some downtime in between orders, where do they congregate? Do they congregate it at, could they,
They don't.
are they out the back? Because you said you're on the end of an alley, so do they go to the side? Or
Yeah,
I'm
no.
just trying to,
Normally they hang out in the front at table 1, because that's the staff table that we call it. So they never hang out at the back. They're only
so
at
there's
the
not a
back.
group of people stood smoking, drinking and.
No, they're only at the back if they're either on a phone call that they don't want to take in the kitchen, or they're in the back if they're putting the garbage outside, or they're jet washing the back. That's pretty much it. Or changing the keg. We have our beer line is outside. unless they're doing that.
What have the police said when you've reported these, including specifically the racial incident?
So the
What-
racial slur, it was basically the police said it's he said, she said. So that was no proof on that. But the video was shown, and then the police went to talk to them, and that was the end of it.
So how many times have you reported them to the police?
For what I know, it's twice, but I've heard there was more than that from my sisters. But from my personal experience, it's been twice.
What goes on upstairs in the building? Have you got tenants upstairs or?
No, we use it as storage.
Right, okay, do you want to give us a
Yeah, of course.
time to have a chat about this and we'll call you back in?
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. I guess I didn't say we're more than happy